Here I am. I went to the top of a pretty high hill. There's so much fog around us. Here's another morning. I decided to climb the tallest hill that I could see. I'm at the top now. And unfortunately, nothing goes according to my expectations, which I guess is okay. It's for a reason. Might as well embrace it. But yesterday it was wonderful weather. Actually, last 2 days, and finally got the Jeep working. And of course, destroyed my phone, like literally as the Jeep was fixed. Like, Jeep got fixed. Everything else went broke. So. And today I thought it was going to be a nice warm day where I could just run around. But it snowed since 3 o'clock till now. It's still snowing. It's probably about 10:30, maybe 11. Yeah, we got to 18 degrees last night. Just can't get away from the snow. I might as well just accept, not defeat, but change. So anyway, here's the top. And if you look at this, I found some semi-fresh bear poop. You can see like they've been eating a lot of pine nuts and other types of nuts. And some of the pine nuts are just like whole. I don't know if they've been eating any juniper berries. I have. But if it gets nicer today or tomorrow, we'll go around and I'll show you different stuff that you can eat and use. But for now, it's just been like everything's been ice. It was really cold in the morning. And it's probably cold right now. I just warmed up because I've been hiking a lot. But look at that. Everything's iced over. I hope it gets nicer, but it's beautiful like this as well. It's harder to navigate, as you can see, like there's hills all around me. Well, as you can't see, but I'm telling you, there's hills all around me. But this fog rolled in. And we're just going to keep pushing and explore, see where this goes. And I'm going to just keep the battery in my pocket so it doesn't, the power doesn't go down faster. Well, we've been climbing more and I got a little bit hungry. But luckily, there is tons of food at this altitude and in this environment where it gets a lot of sun. So right now, I just collected a handful of pine nuts. And let me tell you, pine nuts have a ton of fat and calories and protein in it. They're great, and there's thousands of them everywhere right now because right now they're all dropping. Same with the juniper berries. So it's kind of like eating a really big sunflower seed. I'm still getting the hang of it. But anyway, here you can see the. Let's see if you can see it. Come on, focus. There you can see the pine seed. Still working out a way to get it easily. Get inside my mouth. Because I like to get stuck on this half, so learning. So this is interesting. It's like a little nest. Something grabbed like the grass and like literally made like a ring around it. Oh, dropping my my seeds, my pine nuts. Anyway, look at that. If anyone has an idea what made that, let me know. But yeah, something definitely took advantage and made like a little nest there and dug right in. It's really small. So here's my foot for comparison. Yeah, Any guesses? Let me know. It's still really foggy and cold out, but there's a lot of explorer up here. The area that I'm in now looks like cattle come through here during the warmer months and eat. I'm gonna start slowly heading back down to the vehicle. Hopefully the day improves. If not, it is really, really like beautiful. Everything's frosted over with all the fog. It makes it a little eerie, but it's part of exploring. I've been walking on this old road that I think's used for cattle. And maybe originally was too. I didn't see it on the way over, but now that I'm heading back, I just found like this huge rock pile with like a stick hanging out of it. I'm not sure if its purpose is for the cattle or another one, but someone put some work into there to put that all those rocks in place and put this pole. Maybe it had a flag on it at one time. Looks like there's nail marks throughout it. I'm not positive. But it makes you wonder if anyone knows its purpose on a most likely a cattle road going through these foothills here to grasslands. Let me know. I just came down from up there. As you can see, it's still very much fogged up there and cold. It's actually nicer down here, so hoping by the time I get to the vehicle, it'll be even better. May make a real meal to eat. Okay, got the new tripod set up. Decided to cook the rest of the pork, and I can just have it for leftovers later. And I have these potatoes that are already like pretty much cooked. They just need to be warmed up. What's cool about them is that they you can even cook them over the grill like this because it's made out of metal. The container it's in. You may be wondering why the Jeep hood is open. Well, nothing wrong with the Jeep. However, welcome to our old friend Pam. So I was able to melt again inside here. Well, let's see if it's working. It wasn't working before. Oh my gosh, now it's working. As soon as I'm finally cooking. I decided whatever happens faster, I'll just go with that. And setting up the whole tripod system, getting the fire ready, and putting the food out was faster than this. So I'm going to try putting this in the refrigerator tonight, which has been staying warmer. And hopefully that'll allow us to have eggs tomorrow. I'm ready for some eggs. If I had been smart, I just would have bought some butter. But I'm really hoping tomorrow will be nicer. And we can do some more exploring. Today was good. What hasn't been bad so far. But wasn't the way I'd like it to be. Maybe that's the lesson of this trip, is to just be happy with what I have and what life presents me instead of the expectations of what I'd like to happen. But you can see some sun over there in the distance, so maybe there's hope for us yet. Time will tell. All right, so it's time for bed. It's about, I don't know, let's see, 8:30, and it's about 16 degrees outside and 34 in here. And I just wanted to let you know before I go to sleep that I just had an epiphany. It's rather sad, but apparently since I've just been out sleeping in a tarp when I go out a lot, it never occurred to me that I could just turn on these lights instead of I just be using this every single night to illuminate my way around and to you know, take off my clothes, look for stuff. And this whole time, I have lights like in the vehicle, obviously, like in the cab, and it, like just now, it dawned on me that I could just be using those instead of just having on my head and just have more convenience. Okay. Good night. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Bye. This land, I feel like this is where early man would have started. A place very similar to this. Arid, but still plenty to eat. And a pretty mild climate. You know, it's definitely like a partial desert place that you'd expect to see in Iraq, Israel, Africa. Places where people, you know, prospered, civilizations came from. But obviously, it started from its very beginning, its roots. So I'm going to try to, my best at least, to try to use stone tools and build some type of, you know, fire bow, you know, drill. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but it'd be cool to see if I can find a shelter that would be suitable. Get the stone tools I need to craft the fire making tools. See if I can get a fire going. You know, it may not happen, and that's okay. If I can't get it, then I will do it again. This place isn't going anywhere, but I don't have that much time before I have to head off to the next venture. So we're kind of in a little bit of a rush. Let's see what we can do. Oh, this land is beautiful. Time to start exploring. We're gonna go make ourselves some primitive tools. There's a kind of like a mine over here that's probably been exploited for, I bet, thousands of years. First by the natives, then by modern settlers, even up to today. And so we're going to go in there and see if we can find some type of rock that it's going to allow us to make something sharp so we can use it for tool making. Again, it's my first time, but we'll see where it goes. Like, whatever it is, I know it'll be difficult, but it'll be fun and a good learning experience. So let's go rock on. Pun. Okay, I'll go. Well, here we'll probably find some good stuff. This will be a good rock to start heating things on. Maybe we'll see if we get lucky. Look at that. That could be sharp. Something like this. It may not be precisely what we're looking for, but if it works right, that's what we're after. getting these flakes that can be sharp. But I don't know how strong they'll be. So because this is my first time actually looking for this in the wild and not just having it provided for me like at the survival school, I'm kind of just going with just giving it my best. Like, this is sharp, but I feel like it's gonna get dull right away, so I'm just keeping this over here. I think I need to find stuff like this, like this, which is more made out of a glass type substance. So I mean, in the end, worst comes to worst, I'll just use any rock that looks sharp and hope for the best. Because I was like trying to get it from this one. Oh, that was sharp. Not what I want, though. Look at that, some type of crystal. Here. I think this might be what we're looking for. Come on. Autofocus, don't make me go over there. So something like this, that looks like it has like a much harder, almost like glass-like components to it. And you can see that there's layers in there. So I'm hoping we will break this apart and create fragments from it that we can use to cut with. And my goal is to get a one tool that can be small to like shave and cut with, and then another implement that's bigger that I can use almost like a hatchet. And if that doesn't work, just like a big rock as a bludgeoning tool to break limbs and stuff like that. So let's see. There's no guarantee here, and I'm probably doing this wrong. I'm probably wasting valuable resources if I could do this better. But I think there's a certain layer here that I actually want. There we go. Something like this, but bigger. So how do we do this? I'm gonna try something else. Okay, so it's not working the way I'd like it to. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or it's just not the right type of mineral. But we're gonna try with what we have to make this thing work. So let's try just using rocks and see how hard it is to do. I mean, how hard can it be? I'm gonna eat my words. It's just gonna be tough. But yeah. And next step, let's try to make a spindle and get a fire going. Well, make the tools to get the fire going. We'll see if we can do this or not. So far, I've just been hammering rocks for about an hour with to no avail. I've got some things kind of the way I want it, but not to any degree that I call success. But we're going to move forward and see what happens. right, now we need to find the proper pieces of wood to fire make, and hope that the crude tools I got do the job. I suspect a lot of work and brute strength is going to come out of this because it's not nearly what I wanted, but it's what I have. So let's get primitive, right? If I could do this, then if I had nothing, at least like I can make something, even if it is very inefficient and tedious and tough. So let's see what I can do. So my great plan is try to cut it a little and then just use force, centralized force, and see if we can just take down something like this that's already dead. This is gonna take a while, so I'm gonna try first start by cutting it right around. Try to loosen the fibers. So I'm using this as a saw. It's a very slow sawing method, but it is working. There you can see it slowly get in there. I'm gonna go a little deeper, then I'm just gonna hit it with my hammer. All right, I don't know if this is gonna work. Hopefully I don't hurt myself, but now we're gonna try to hit it and break it off. Nope, still not ready. Oh, this is labor intensive, let me tell you. My arms feel like they're about to fall off. All right, let's give it another shot. Oh. All right, full disclosure, I've decided to give up on the rock for this task. It works, it's just not sharp enough. I need to go back to the drawing board, learn more. It's a slow process, which I expected, but because of time constraints, I'm just very thankful to have steel. And so I'm just finishing up this way. And it's what's incredible is that this I've already been able to get 2 parts of it done pretty much, and it's only been, I don't know, I'd say maybe 15 minutes, whereas just to get like less than a quarter of this done with the rock, I spent over an hour. So I definitely want to get into it, and there'll be future videos with that, but for now I'm just going to be using this. I mean, it's still going to be hard enough to get this going as is. Because it doesn't just take building it also takes skill set. Which we'll see if I have. Almost complete. We'll see if this bow works. Got the top part. Got the bottom part. And of course the spindle. Spindle might be a little too small. We'll find out. Now all that's missing are now all that's missing is some type of cord that goes from here yonder to create the bow drill. And I'm going to try to find natural cordage and use that first. And if that fails, then we'll just try to use 550 cord and see where we can get from there. One step closer. Right now we are walking around looking to see if we can find something that's a little bit more elusive at this elevation, and that's yucca. I'm hoping that we'll be able to use the yucca fibers in order to make the string that we need, or cordage, for the bow drill. Because then if we can do that, then everything was acquired by nature through natural means. I mean, besides me switching to my hatchet and knife to build it. Anyway, I know there's some around here somewhere, so let's go get us some yucca and see if we can make it work. Alright, here we are. And before we jump to the knife, we're going to see how these the smaller rocks did. Here's one right here. And then here's one of a different material. So we'll try them both out and see how they cut. I've already tried one. It worked okay. Not on this, but just like on a regular tree. So we'll try this one first. Oh, it looks like I tried them both. So here we have yucca. And the fibers in yucca are going to be really helpful to for what's coming next to build cordage. So I'm going to just try cutting it from here. Oh, wow. Whoa, that came really easily. Now these things are sharp. All right, I'm trying the next one now. Yeah, they both work effectively well. This one seems to be working better, and I think it's just because it's more narrow. So I'm going to use this to get more. Wow, it's almost as good as my knife. Alright. We'll try to do this whole process without using any steel. No promises though. Found myself a rock, and we'll see if we can make this work. The first thing you want to do is you want to just take out all the fluids inside here, and that'll also break up the fibers. So let's see the effective way we can do this without going too hard. Okay, once it's smashed up, what I like to do is kind of drag it under the rock. But you have to be careful, because if you put too much weight on it, it's just going to destroy the fibers, and we don't want that. So this way it'll just rip everything out and expose the fibers, making it easier. And normally I do this pretty crudely. Like I'll just do it with my hands and build it, a cordage. But in this situation, I want it to be as fine as I can get it, because it's going to need to be fine to have less friction if I want to try to make this work. Pretty amazing. We call it primitive survival, but primitive living. It's still like a lot of advanced stuff to know how to build tools out of your environment. And those tools and technologies pretty advanced. I mean, not compared to where we are today, but just from nothing, like that's impressive. And you can just easily get in your environment. Obviously, know-how is a whole nother story. But like I said before, like this is what I'd see as primitive humans starting out, like in a place like this where it's nice, you have plenty of food, you just have to make sure you have a water source. Like that's one of the things we're missing here. But that's just because I haven't found one. I haven't looked. So that would be something that would also be important. And they can still be, like probably a mile from here, maybe a mile and a half. There's a good sized creek. So if you had a way to bring water, you would be fine. Like where we are right here. I mean, it'd be a distance to walk, but if you found security and other foods and stuff up here, then it's worth it. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to break up these fibers. I'm just being gentle because I want to make them as long as possible. These are already small yucca just because they haven't grown that large in this area because of the altitude and where the sun hits, etc. This is where nails come in handy, and they've been growing, so this is making it a lot easier for me. But as you can see, I'm just slowly breaking down the fibers. Now they don't have to be this clean if you're just using for like a shelter. Like how maybe you've seen some other videos before, and I don't try that hard because I don't need to. But in this, I'm going to be careful and gentle. So now that I have them out, I'm basically creating this cordage that I'm hoping will be strong enough and smooth enough to work the bow drill. And basically what you do is you just want to turn a certain direction. People say go down. I'm in this case going up and then over. Up, over, up, over. Or you can go down and go over, but you just want to keep the same pattern as you go. So I'm just going to keep building this, and if it ends up not working, I'll just use it for cordage. Maybe I'll make a fishing pole out of it. Done that before. There's a creek about a mile away, so maybe we'll head there after. But for now, I would really like this to work because that would be awesome. have some bad news. The cordage, I think I ended up making too thin and small because I wanted to make less resistance. And when I was trying to loop it on in practice, it broke, it snapped when I tried to put the spindle on. So now it's just going to be used as just to hold everything together. Before we go and try to find a shelter to make our home, we're going to get some provisions, some food, and luckily at this time and in this area there's tons of food everywhere. So as you can see here, the pine nuts have started to drop, and so we're just going to gather a bunch of them. They're going to be all over the ground. I try to go after the ones that are more brown on one side, or tan, I guess. I try to go after the ones that are lighter brown, and they're going to be all over the ground, and that's going to be our food source. And after this, we're going to grab some juniper berries. So we're just going to make sure to get enough to give us a meal and mix with the juniper berries, and I think we'll be set for the day. But yeah, it's pretty easy as far as right now in this time of the year to collect these. And the juniper berries and these, I don't even have to cook or anything. I can just eat straight up. Next, we'll start collecting juniper berries, which have been used in many recipes, especially out of Scandinavia. But here, the juniper berries were used a lot back in the mid to late 1800s here in Colorado to make gin. They don't taste bad at all. They are a little bit bitter. I'm sensitive to bitterness, so sometimes eating too many of them becomes a little too much for me. But eat them little by little. If I'm hungry and mix them with stuff, they are great. And when they're ready, they'll just come right off, so you don't have to do very much. So basically, I'm just brushing my fingers through like this, and the ones that are ready are just falling right off because they're ripe. Anyway, we're going to collect more of these and then look for our shelter. I think I found our shelter over here. Check it out. feel like our ancients, ancestors, would look for a place, a climate like this, up high, where they can, it'd be harder to reach, and where they'd have a good oversight, and where they could also receive shelter and good egress routes. But check this out. Look at that. But before that, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna head down there and inspect it with a flashlight, so that make sure there's no snakes or other animals down there that might be hazardous to my health. Hopefully the wind dies down. I don't perceive it dying down anytime soon. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The wind is terrible right now. I do want to fly the drone. Hopefully it'll die down. Well, let's go take a look. Are we ready to go into the depths of the earth? Gotta be careful. You have to go on this ledge. Whew. But this would have made an excellent shelter. Oh, man. It's neat. I'm pretty sure what we're seeing here is the result of millions of years of a shallow ocean. And this probably used to be a coral reef for a long, long time. I already threw the stuff for fire making down there. We're just gonna try to make our way in there. But if I wanted to seek shelter from the wind, rain, and snow, this is where I would come. There's definitely a lot of space down here. And I don't think we're alone down here. Something's been living up in here. But anyway, it's a lot quieter now. And up through there, you could easily sleep, maybe even two, and have pretty much cover from the rain. There's no wind at all down here, and you could just have the fire right here in front of us. Well, let's get to fire making. Alright, we got our fire ready to go. We're in our impromptu shelter, but if we were going to stay here for a long period of time, we'd put some bedding in and stuff, change it up a little, but for now we just need to get the basics, and that's seeing if this will work. So I do eventually want to try using natural cordage for this, but because time is of the essence, we're just gonna see what we can do here. So the first thing we do is we want to like work it in. So that's a good sign. But as you can see, my this got loose up top. So let's retie that and then continue. I'm living in primitive times, and I want to get a fire going in this nice shelter I found in great terrain. Food everywhere. So, oh. It's a little too tight, but I think it might work. Pretty cramped down here, I'm not gonna lie. Especially for having novice fire making abilities when it comes to the bow drill. But I will persevere. Alright, we're going to try to do this outside since it's so cramped in there. Hope for the best. I've already done this a couple times in my life, too. So this is new for me too, ish. But we're close. But close isn't fire now, is it? Great, my spindle's broken. Well, I may not have been able to get the fire going, because the spindle broke. But look at this. Here's a bunch of food that can be eaten raw. And you know, it took me maybe 15 minutes each, so 30 minutes just to get this. And right here, this is a meal. And if I took a couple hours, I could get handfuls of these. Unfortunately, I was unable to get the firebow drill to work, and yeah, the spindle broke. It obviously had issues with the cordage, so that's just something I'm gonna have to do another time. I want to come out here and really take advantage of the shelter that we found, because it looks really epic and like it could work well. Like I feel like that's well insulated, and even when it starts to snow out here, in there I'll be pretty comfortable. So that's something for another time, and it's humbling, you know. Obviously, I didn't procure the correct stones, I believe, or I didn't know how to fashion them correctly. You know, I've only had a little bit of a experience and training on it, so that's something I need to go learn more of. And of course, I ended up just using my regular knives and steel and hatchet, which really makes you appreciate those tools that, you know, we just find so antiquated because they've been around so long, are actually pretty powerful and impressive, like pieces of technology that have aided humanity forward, have brought us to where we are today, and they're so effective and have been used so much and work so well that we still use them. We still use them. Like most people at their home will have some, like a knife and a hatchet. Like these, like pieces of technology, these tools have been so prolifically effective that we still use them in one way or another today. On average, everyone. And this is just exciting because I do think like this is an ideal habitat for man. And I think a place like this in Colorado that is arid, you know, has water nearby, has tons of food, wild edibles, and animals to eat, was a place that forced humanity to change, to evolve. And that's because here you have a winter. So you're forced to like have to adapt to using new technology like fires, clothing, insulation, you name it. So I think places like this that have like both climates that we are as humans adapted to, and beyond that have climates that were not as seasonal, forced humanity to evolve. It, you know, gave us the impetus to change and branch out technologically to adapt to these new environments. But anyway, hey, thanks for coming along with me on this adventure. There'll be many more to come. I may be helping out at the survival school, teach some classes for a Korean, um, like a survival television show. I'm not sure what it is. It's like a survival reality show. I don't know what to expect. I'm just going to be helping another friend, Matt, another Matt, good name, that'll be up there, and and I'll be meeting him in a day. So hopefully we can do some cool stuff up there and see what we can teach them, see what it's all about. All right, thanks. Bye.